Guys, we are at another Oddisode. I've got a dear friend and fellow Bigfoot enthusiast, also just all around paranormal lover, Nick Floyd with me. Nick, tell everybody hey.
Oh, gee whiz. That was so nice. I feel, I'm just honored to be around people who feel the same way I do about everything, really.
Yes, and Nick's got stories, and there was been alcohol involved when I heard them, so I'm not sure that I remember the entire story. But he's got stories, and I just am going to remind people that he loves Bigfoot as much as I do. So there you go. So, real quick question. I'm just going to put this out here. I had this thought before we actually started recording. So, murder hornets, do you think in like 100 years they'll be considered a cryptid?
I feel like I don't know enough about them, but I feel like if they, usually when things go, this actually sounds terrible. I don't even know why I'm starting off this podcast this way, but I was going to say, usually when things come to the United States, they have the tendency of mutating, and their history of like viruses and things like that. I feel like if a murder hornet were to mutate, which is entirely possible,
yeah,
because they're already pretty big, I feel like that could get into cryptid territory. I'm not going to lie.
I knew you'd appreciate that question and have some really cool bullshit answer for it. I'm just kidding. It wasn't bullshit.
It was though.
Oh, shit.
I'm just being honest.
No, and I appreciate it. I just think as is, they can become a cryptid because they're fucking terrifying. I read this story, and what they do is they, like, decapitate bees for, like, no fucking reason.
Yeah, but you know who
like
decapitates... Did you see the video today? What decapitates murder hornets?
What's that?
Praying mantis. There is a praying mantis it was like a cage match that someone had to this praying mantis and this murder hornet, and it grabs it with its talons and just starts eating it alive.
What?
So we just need more praying mantises. That's it.
Yeah, can somebody start breeding those ASAP? I would really appreciate it, because murder hornets scare the shit out of me.
It'll be like love bugs. Someone will create more praying mantises in the lab, make them slightly bigger, and then boom, no more murder hornets. It's perfect.
And then you've got the praying mantis cryptids we were just talking about. Full circle, Nick. Full circle. Look at what we did there.
Hey, it's only a matter of time until they find like a praying mantis skeleton from the dinosaur times of this giant praying mantis that actually made the dinosaurs go extinct. Boom.
And then we'll use that DNA to recreate them, and then, Jurassic World will really become a thing.
Yeah, and to your left is the large praying mantis. All right.
Shit. I love it. So, tell my listeners, which are really my dearest and closest friends, next to you, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Your entryway into the paranormal. Why does it interest you so much? What is it that makes it your jam?
That's tough. I feel like it started with ghost stuff. I don't even know how. I feel like Poltergeist was like everyone's entryway for everything. Like that, it had everything. It had dolls. It had like skeleton beasts. It had faces coming off. Like that was the entryway. And then of course Harry and the Hendersons, like movies were my everything. And I think I watched Harry and the Hendersons when I was, good Lord, I was probably in kindergarten. And then from what I can remember, elementary school on, I had this like weird fascination. I'd be sitting in the classroom on like these super old computers that barely ran, looking up all these like Area 51 style files of Bigfoot sounds in the woods recorded, and you can't even find them anymore. They don't exist on the internet.
What?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
The internet was a crazy place back then, Kitsie.
Yeah, it was like the black market of good shit.
Oh, the good old days.
Exactly. Speaking of movies, you do this really cool thing that I've not been a part of, but I've been seeing you pumping it out there on your Instagram. Tell me about your movie nights you're having.
Oh, Lord.
It has nothing to do with paranormal, I'm sure, but I want you to talk about you for a second. I usually open it up like this, but I haven't talked to you in fucking ages, so anyway, tell them about your stuff.
It's been a long time. No, I feel like everyone's sort of been trying to find where they fit in this quarantine lockdown thing, and I can't make masks for shit. I can't knit. I can't crochet. I can't sew. So I can't do that. I'm not a doctor.
No, and I feel bad that I'm not.
I know. I want to provide something, so I'm like, well, what can I try to do? It's like, okay, well, maybe I'll just torture myself by watching bad movies every night using a roulette app where you can go on. It's called Real Good, and you go on it, and then it finds any movie in any streaming service, and whatever I get, I just watch, and then I review it. And it turns out it's been making some people smile at how dumb it is, which is cool. So,
oh yay!
If I can, just bring a smile, not even a laugh. If you just if you're scrolling through your Instagram story and you just see it and you just the slightest little grin
every time,
I've done my job.
Absolutely. That's why I have now 3 podcasts, and I'm doing extra Oddisodes like this one. Just trying to bring a smile to somebody's face.
You're like, something's going to make somebody laugh somewhere. Exactly. It's going to be perfect.
Because I'm fucking miserable. No, it's keeping me so busy, I don't even think about the bullshit in the world. So, yay for that.
It's so true.
So what is your Instagram handle in case they want to follow your fun little movie nights?
My Instagram, what is my Instagram handle? It's at I am Nick Floyd. It's very, I don't know, unoriginal.
So original, because you are Nick Floyd.
I just want to keep it simple. That's the motto of my life. Keep it as simple as possible.
And there was probably another fucking Nick Floyd out there that got there first, so you had to stick the I am in front of it.
There are 2. One is a comic book writer. And he wrote some super badass comic. And then there's another one who runs a brewery. And somehow, I think they're connected. I think one way or another, the brewery published the comic book. They might be the same person. I don't know.
There could be twins. Who knows?
Way cooler than me.
Go ahead and tell me your top pick paranormal story that's all Nick all the time, every day. Well, not every day, but that one day.
That one day. I think anybody can say that they've seen, anybody who's gone camping can say that they've seen Bigfoot or something that's not normal. But my go-to always is a ghost experience it's always kind of a fun campfire story, is that one of my first jobs at a film school was a camera operator on a very, very low budget, late night.
I love this story.
Ghost hunting show.
Yay!
And I'll try to give the Spark Notes version, but there's a place in Florida, in the Central Florida area, called Casadega. It's a very old town. It's an old spiritualist camp, which is fascinating in its own. That basically this guy had this idea for this town where everyone who wanted to practice being a medium or just whatever would come and flock to this town, and it kind of became a hotspot for paranormal everything, which is weird. But there's a hotel. It's right in the heart of so there's a cemetery, and then there's a hotel right in the heart of the town. And so we camped out. I say camped out. We slept in the hotel room. We had the whole hotel to ourselves to do this show. I don't know how they got it. I don't know what they paid or whatever.
Yeah.
But the story of the hotel is there were 7 spirits. I can't even remember. One is, I know, a woman with a big floppy hat. She hides in the bathroom on the first floor.
Okay.
There are 2 kids, a girl and a boy, who have this ping pong ball that people, guests, will find all over the hotel. So the kids play with it. It's really cool. And then there's 7 spirits total. Those are the 3 that I remember. There's an old man who goes to the same room every night, opens the door, goes to the bed, sits on the edge of the bed, and will just sit, and then he'll get up and leave and repeat every night.
Oh, wow.
I remember.
Residual to a T.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's tons, but there are many others. I think there's one in the kitchen, which we didn't really go in the kitchen. There's someone who one of the ghosts opens and closes the big refrigerator door and stuff. But the one that I had the experiences with were the kids, which was real fascinating. Because the moment we walked in and we're setting all the equipment up, right in the corner of the main lobby was the ping pong ball.
Okay.
Like greeting us when we walked in, which was
like, nuts. Do you want to play a game?
Yeah, it's like, I'm here for it. That's fine. So we set up the gear and everything. And the first night, I will never forget. I was on the crew that was downstairs, and then there was a crew that was upstairs. And the crew that was downstairs, we were all like huddled in this little like Goonies-esque like packed in tight, like trying to look down this hallway together, and there was like a camera guy below, and then like the investigators in front of us, and then like I was also behind trying to get a second angle, and they're trying to get in the door, unlock one of the rooms with a key, and we had the master key to every single room. We had the master key to.
Awesome.
Every room under the sun. And so they were trying to unlock the door, and like the key wasn't working. So they try another key, and it wasn't working, and another. And they couldn't, like the door was jammed. And so we tried to go to another door, and it was like something didn't want us to go in the rooms, which was really insane. I will never understand that piece.
Maybe they thought you were sketchy, you know, it's all good.
They're like, we don't want you guys in here.
Yeah.
But the hallway was like, it was very long, so it was very like Shining-esque. But it was a very, very long wooden hallway. And we were pretty far down the hallway. And it was sort of like an L shape. So the hallway was straight, and then it sort of crossed into an L, and then crossed to another L, and that was the lobby. And so we're like, I heard something, and I looked down the hallway, and I thought it was just me in my own head, because I was 18 years old. or 19 years old at the time. So I was like, it's probably in my head or whatever. And then I look over at the other camera guy who was a buddy of mine, and his eyes were just like really wide, like he had heard something too. I was like, oh shit, this is not going to end well for any of us.
This is real.
I've seen this movie. Yeah, this is real. And we stopped, we froze, and like whispered to the investigators so they could listen too, and we all just were silent. There was no keys rattling, there was nothing. We were just standing all huddled together, and we hear this like little laugh of this child coming from all the way down in the front room. I was like, oh my God.
Welcoming, but I'm sure scared the shit out of you.
Oh, I feel like I told the guy who hired us that if I heard any like ghost children laughing, I was just going to leave. Like I set that, like that was my grounds of like,
that was on your rider. It's like, this is the only thing I won't do. Did you leave?
No, I didn't leave. I stayed for a little while. And so we heard it, and then like it stopped. And so like we were all just like, what was that? What was that? And then we heard it again, and it got closer, and then we heard these like little feet like running down the hallway, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's coming for us!"
Magical. They wanted to play, Nick.
I feel like that's what it was. Is like maybe they just wanted to hang out, but that's
why they were laughing, because they saw you guys get all freaked out, and they're like, "Oh, look at these guys. Let's go mess with them."
Yeah, we got them real good.
Yeah.
And so they like the footsteps were getting closer and closer and closer, and then like stopped. Like it sounded like shoes on a basketball
like the squeak
floor. Yeah, like the squeak. And so we heard like the running, and then there was like a squeak of like feet squeaking on the hardwood floor, because it was old hardwood floor. And it just stopped, and I felt like we were being watched for a while. And I was like, okay, cool, it's over. They've done their thing, they've had their fun, awesome. And then in the room in front of us, we're all huddled by this door. We hear jumping, like squeaking on the beds behind the door.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen or heard. I guess I didn't see anything, but like, it was crazy. And so they jump, and then we'd hear like a bang, like a door down, and then we'd like run that way, and we followed the investigators, and then we heard like jump, bang, and then it was like jumping on another bed in another room, and I was like, what is happening?
What? It's like jump, 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 bang through the wall, jump, 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 bang through the wall.
That was how, like, in my mind, that's how I saw it. It was like these little, like, ghost kids were like jumping on the bed and then just like jumping through the wall to the next room and then jumping through the wall. I was like, this is, I had no word. I still have no words.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I really wouldn't either.
It doesn't make sense. I want to go back one day, but I would go back if my entire experience was solely based on the fun jumping and playing of children, I would gladly go back. But later in the night, and it's a much longer story, but the very quick Spark Notes version is later in the night we went to a room where they if you're a guest at the hotel, you can actually practice seances, which is a terrible idea.
Oh my God, this sounds like my own personal heaven.
They have a seance room, and it's like very hippie-ish, and there's, like blankets on the walls and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But like the logic behind it was that basically what happened is because all of these people were practicing seances incorrectly, they opened a portal to let in evil spirits. So the evil spirits were like fighting with these good spirits who have just been running this hotel. It sounds like a movie, but
yes,
but it's logical. There was logic. I was like, this, like, yeah, if you have a bunch of people, it's like Harry Potter. If someone's saying a spell wrong, they could like blow their face off or whatever, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't do that, Luna.
Like, that's what I remember. But we set up shop in the seance room. So it was a big like King Arthur style. It wasn't a round table. I don't know why I'm saying King Arthur, because it wasn't round, but it was a big medieval style rectangular table. And so we all gathered around. And in the short span of like an hour and a half, there was a lot of activity in this room, and we all piled in, and we sat around the table, and we shut the cameras off. And one of the ghost hunter, the investigators across from me, apparently got possessed by something. And it was very terrifying. Yeah, he was a grown man I've never met in my life, and he was like, the pitch of his voice changed, his eyes rolled back in his head, and this was no actor. Like, if he was, he needs an Academy Award. Because I don't even think that's, what's the guy's name? Doug Jones, who does all the monster creature work for that is someone, this guy would put him to shame, and that's not possible.
Okay, so
it's just not.
His eyes rolled back in his head. His voice, what else happened? Guys, have you heard of diedinhouse.com? This is pretty much the coolest thing ever. Ever feel like somebody's watching you in your house and you don't know why, and you're the only one in the house? Did you know real estate brokers are not obliged to tell you if someone died in the house unless you ask? Yep, I found that one out the hard way. I mean, it's certainly not a checkbox on a Zillow site, now is it? So, are you looking at houses and don't want to move into a murder house? I mean, I do, but I understand that it's not for everyone. Well, now you can find out who died in your house, or any house for that matter, and usually what the cause of death was as well. And we have a way for you to save money when you do. Of course we do. Check out diedinhouse.com. Save 10% by using promo code OddityFiles, one word, no spaces. Before buying or renting a home, get informed about everything. Use diedinhouse.com to learn the house history. Again, head to diedinhouse.com and enter promo code OddityFiles, one word, at checkout, and you'll save 10%.
He was trying to, so he was in and out. So it was like this weird, I guess from what the ghost hunter told me, the head ghost hunter, he told me that the spirit that was trying to take him over wasn't strong enough. So it was like he was in and out. So he would start trying to talk, and then he'd switch back into normal, but he'd be crying, sobbing.
Oh my gosh.
It was just insane. So basically the main ghost hunter's everybody leave the room, everybody get out. And so we left. We went back to the little base camp we had set up, and I went to go check in. And of course, this was
before the cameras were on, you said, right?
We had shut them all off at this point.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, Jesus. It's the way it always happens.
Yeah, all the footage does not exist anymore. Like, we did our job, we turned the footage in, and the ghost hunting show stopped. They never made another episode after this. Yeah. They had been running for like 2 years. You would think that would encourage
them to do more. Yep. This bitch would.
100%. I think they invited us to 2 more investigations, and we said no, and then apparently those investigations never happened. So it was super weird, but we had wrapped up, and then I wanted to come and check to do my job and be like, hey, do you want us to turn the cameras back on? And the guy who had been quote unquote possessed was sitting like with his head in his hands, and he was just kind of sitting there doing his own thing. And he looked up and he like made small talk with me, and I was like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like I didn't know what to say. I was just,
"Are you still possessed?"
Right? Yeah. Are you
gonna live, man? Like literally, are you gonna live?
Yeah. Are you gonna make it through until dawn? Like, are we okay? And he looked at me and he started making small talk, and he was just like, I wish I had the childhood that you had. And I was like, what? What did you say? And he's like, when you were a kid, you had a blue and yellow tricycle, and you wore overalls, and you had a big hill that you rode up and down. And I was like, what? Because I did have a tricycle, I did have overalls, and I did have my family. For a short time in my life, I lived in West Virginia, and we lived on this hill, so I'd ride up and down this little hill.
Snap, Nick.
Mm-hmm. And the main ghost hunter guy like stepped in. He like grabbed me by the arm. He's like, "You need to leave right now." And I was like, okay, cool. I'll go home at 5:30 in the morning. This is good for me. So I go back and I'm packing my stuff. And he comes in the room and he's like, "Listen, he still had something wrong with him, and the evil spirit was trying to find a new host to bounce to, but didn't have enough energy or whatever. So by weakening me, by aligning with me, it was trying to take me over because I was, I guess, the weakest one in the area." Just like so messed up.
Bullshit there.
I was a kid at the time, but I
know, just a baby.
It was so weird. So he gave me this stuff to put in my pocket, and he's like, if you feel different tomorrow, call me right away, and I'll come to where you are, and we'll address it. I was like, what's going to happen to me?
Yeah. Well, here's my question with this, because possession is something I've never seen happen. Unlike you, it's something I'm not sure that is real, because it doesn't really, when it happens on like the cable ghost shows, it seems a little forced to me sometimes, and I'm not really buying it. Sometimes I think it's just a cry for attention. Anyway, stepping off my soapbox. But if you were possessed, would you know that you felt different? Or would you be possessed by a different spirit and you would have no fucking idea? That's the way I see it going down.
I feel like I just prank call people. I'd be like, "Hello, it's me." In this modern age of technology, in like movies like The Exorcist, possession works. Like it works then because things are. But I feel like now, if I'm just like sitting in bed possessed by something, like how logistically, scientifically would that work? I don't.
Does your head actually spin? Is there vomit involved? Oh,
I don't know, but I will say the last piece, and I do have footage of this somewhere, and I need to put it on the internet.
Yes, you do.
We weren't supposed to have cameras, and I brought this like tiny little. It was probably about this big. It was probably the size of like a cell phone now, and it was very small. And we went on our own, me and my 2 buddies who were the camera guys, we had a break, so we went on our own little investigation. And so we went upstairs to one of the rooms, and we're walking down the hallway. I have footage of this. There was nothing on the walls. They were empty walls. It was whatever. Like, it was just empty wallpaper, and then a couple hanging photos. So we're in this room. We're trying to get this chair to float because apparently in one of the rooms, if you sit long enough, the chair will lift off the ground and then it'll drop back to the ground.
Oh.
Really cool.
Can we still go to this place?
It is a real place. Yeah, it's still there.
Oh, snap. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's still there.
You had your camera?
We had the camera. Nothing happened. And we were like talking to the spirits and stuff. And then our walkie-talkie went off and just scared the shit out of all of it. Like, it was terrifying. And it was the call to say, come downstairs. We're in the seance room. You know, da-da-da-da.
Oh.
It's when things really started popping off. And so I have the camera rolling. We're beelining down this hallway to go to the stairs. And I'm walking, and my left shoulder, you see the camera like jolt, and you hear me behind the camera say like, ah! And I had a massive, like baseball, softball sized bruise on my collarbone the next morning. And I went back and watched the footage a few days later and saw that this empty hallway that had nothing there, all of a sudden there was this shelf, and the only thing on the shelf was a black rose and a picture of a lady in a floppy hat.
What?
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It was.
I really want to go to there.
It was something. I don't know if I'm really doing like the tourism thing of being like, hey guys, go visit this magical place.
You are for me.
Yeah, exactly. But that's like the target, you know. Like it is a very fascinating. It's not even a town. It's like a road. So it's just Cassadaga Road. But it is a very, very old town. There's a lot of history. But one day I'll go back. I'm not feeling it now because like spirits never forget, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like,
or they follow you like they do me. So at least you didn't have that happen.
That was my hope. I feel like for a while I was like, I felt like there was something that followed me, but there was nothing like physical that was manifesting. I just had bad luck for a while. But
like, sometimes that can be it. It's like the kids just fucking with you.
Yep. I'll take that any day. Like now as like a conscious adult and not like a little 19-year-old, I feel like I'd be okay with that. But if things get thrown in front of me and people start getting possessed, I'm done. I'm out. Yeah.
No, that, for your first paranormal filming, shit went down, man.
It did. That's why I like Bigfoot. I feel like I've seen him once or twice, and like he hasn't hurt me.
Exactly. He's afraid of people just like me.
Yeah. He just wants a friend. He's loving this lockdown life right now. You know, him and the rest of them. They're sunbathing.
He and Mothman are just all like in the middle of Chicago now because there ain't nothing going on there right now.
That's such a great image. I feel like that would make an awesome T-shirt.
They're like rooftop sunbathing, you know.
Like hashtag stay at home, and they're all having a tea party. Bigfoot sitting back like Teen Wolf with sunglasses on, with his feet up.
Murder Hornet just hanging out in the back, giving the deuces sign.
It's like on his shoulder, a little Murder Hornet on his shoulder, like Snow White.
I want to be a cryptid too. Oh my God, my cheeks hurt.
Oh, my stomach hurts, but it's a good kind of stomach hurt, I guess.
Oh, man. I know you have something to get to, so I won't keep you at all. But thank you so much for doing this, Nick. I had a blast. Thank you so much.
It was so fun. I feel like this is the stuff I could talk about all day because, like, you have to find the right person. I feel like there's a fine line of people who are tongue-in-cheek about it, but also respect it.
Yes.
Because
you just
on either side. But you have to, and that's like we get along so well, is because you have to understand that like people are going to view you a certain way. If I'm walking around being like wearing Bigfoot shirts all day, every day, and being like, he's real, I've seen him, I believe, and you need to believe. Yeah, people will be like, nah, I don't know about you.
Exactly.
But it's very tongue in cheek where anytime someone asks me, my go-to statement, they're like, so why Bigfoot? I'm like, well, sometimes we all just need something to believe in.
Amen, brother. Preach. Literally.
That's my thing. It's all we have. Don't take it from us, okay?
Exactly. And I kind of don't want him to be found because then people will kill him and it'll be terrible. I just feel like he's a really nice guy with social anxiety. And if he met me, he would just want a hug after COVID.
But I wouldn't social distance myself from Bigfoot. I feel like
hell no.
I'd be like, let's talk. If he could talk, I don't know.
I do live in a forest that is known for Bigfoot sightings. I've not seen him yet, but I'm still waiting for him to come up to my house and knock on my door and go, Kitsie, you're my soulmate.
With flowers or like the Say Anything radio.
Exactly. Big old like wildflowers with the roots still dirt dripping on the ground. Did you
go? I don't know if you ever went. Did you make your way to the Bigfoot Museum in Blue Ridge in Georgia?
No, I did not.
One of the only in the country. It's the largest in the country for sure. And
how close is that to Atlanta?
An hour, maybe.
What's it called?
It is called Expedition Bigfoot. And it is, I'm double checking.
Hopefully I'll be out that way in October.
I want to say, Expedition Bigfoot, because I have a shirt. Yep, Expedition Bigfoot, the Sasquatch Museum. And I thought they were opening another one, but the owners, they run it, so in the gift shop after you've walked through and seen everything, they have, headphones you can listen to, like the calls and stuff. But the stories that these owners who run this, one of the stories they have, and she has to tell it to you when you go in, but she saw an albino Bigfoot that roams around in like kind of the marshy areas of like the Blue Ridge area of Atlanta, like LJ, sort of around there. It's so awesome. Like, even if you're not a believer, we took one of my friends who just isn't, and when he got done, he was like, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That's all we need.
Albino Bigfoot be a Yeti?
According to the folks who run the museum, it is not a Yeti. It is just just like in the human gene breakdown, it is just kind of a gene thing.
So he probably had the pink eyes and all that stuff, I'm assuming. I don't know. Someday I'll hear the story.
It's amazing.
Well, that's super interesting.
Yeah, so I
want to go to all these places.
I cannot recommend it enough. Yeah, one day, that's what you need to do. You need to do like the great paranormal tour and just travel to all these little... We have a place here, I don't know if you know the story of the Bell Witch, but you need to come down here and we need to go to the Bell Witch.
I know the story of the Bell Witch, and I'm dying to go to that cabin and that cave.
I am too. I'd be afraid to go with you because you'd probably get some weird shit to happen.
Yeah, I might call her out a little bit.
Not with me, you won't. I'll be like, great, this is wonderful, this place looks nice. Please, just feel free to go.
Here's what we'll do. We'll get the old film crew back together. We'll head down to Bellwood, and I'll give you new stories.
You know what? If anyone can do it, it's you. But we have to go. I won't go without you.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. Actually, we need to see each other again soon. Maybe that's the place to meet up. Just putting it out there.
Oh, I mean, what friends don't meet up at like weird paranormal places after not seeing each other for a while?
That would literally define our friendship forever.
Yep.
I love it. Oh, God. Literally, my cheeks are killing me. I know you have another Zoom meeting to get to. Thank you, Nick, so much. This means the world to me. And everybody go follow Nick on the Instagram. It's at I am Nick Floyd. I remembered this time. He does cool movie stuff. And you don't know, maybe someday you'll see a selfie of us at the Bell Witch Cave. Just putting it out there.
Yep, soon. It's going to happen. I have faith. Thank you so much for having me. This has been, it's so much fun. It's just always a blast. I'm glad that we could capture like all the off mic conversations that we've had over the years. So this has been great. We finally have one for the record.
Oddity Files is an independent production. Intro music created by DJ Jimmy. Wah wah. 2020 artwork created by me, Kitsie Duncan. The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours, and ours alone. Well, maybe yours too. If you like the show and would like to support us, visit oddityfiles.com and click on support, or go to patreon.com/oddityfiles. Every little bit helps with both the podcast and the TV show. You can also support us by watching Oddity Files on Amazon Prime. It's free to Prime members and dirt cheap to those who aren't. You can find us on all the social media sites at Oddity Files. Keep spreading the word by sharing, retweeting, and reposting. Join our Oddity Files Facebook group by searching Oddity Files Fan Group and click Join. We'll approve you as soon as we can. All weirdos are welcome. Not into that social media stuff? Tell your coworkers, family, even the weird guy who just won't stop talking to you in line for coffee. Oh, and Grandma. Your grandma will love us. We appreciate each and every one of you, and if it weren't for you, we have no idea what we would do with our lives. If you have a story you'd like to submit, send it on in at oddityfilescrew@gmail.com. Also, send in story ideas, silly, weird memes, or just positive vibes to oddityfilescrew@gmail.com. You can also call in and leave that in a voicemail. Call us at 317-300-6699. To contact us about an appearance, reach out at Kitsie at oddityfiles.com. When you have a sec, rate, review, and subscribe. We know it doesn't sound like much, but it really helps us get up there in the podcasting charts. And remember, kids, weird is the new cool. Ghost on. Why are you still here? Go on. Get out of here. Turn it off. It's done. Really. I swear. Go. Get. Serious. I'm out of here.